Welcome to Inter Miami's weekly show with obviously Kieran Gibbs. Gibbo, my man. By the way, England beat the Netherlands. I'm not a happy camper, but we got a full slate of great things concerning Inter Miami, obviously. The Charlotte game, the Cincy game as well. 2 call-ups to the Olympics. Yes, we've got a 19-year-old representing the United States going to Paris, which is pretty incredible. Messi's playing in Miami, and Miami has become, by the way, the second Buenos Aires almost, you know? It's almost the second capital of Argentina. So Messi in Miami against Colombia, that's huge as well. So, Gibbo, let's do it. Before we do that, Gibbo, since you beat me 2-1, I'm going to go with the best team in the league.
He kept that one quiet.
I'm going for España. and for some people that don't know, most do, Kieran Gibbs represented England, actually played for Gareth Southgate, with a great discussion about that as well, because he's an interesting coach. But I'm sure you're proud of your team.
Oh, definitely. They've had a difficult tournament. They've had a lot to face, a lot of critics, but it's not easy to get to a final. And they've gotten to 2 now in the last 4 years.
You want to bring it home, baby?
I think it's coming home.
Bring it to the La Roja, España. Here, keep that one. Get rid of it. Let's talk about 2 players that have been really impactful for this team in Benja Kramansky, obviously the local guy coming through the academy, another younger guy but from a different country, but also honing his skill right now, Diego Gomez, both called up for the Olympics in Paris, leaving unfortunately for a few weeks. I hope they do well, and that tournament just becomes bigger and bigger. But talk a little bit about the academy, what they're producing right now, and the youngest player on this squad is Benja Kramansky at 19 years old. Well done, Benja.
Yeah, well, I mean, look, he's one of a number of players that have come through this Inter Miami system in such a short space of time, which, you know, shows that there's incredible talent in the region, and you know they have owners and managers that have, you know, given them the opportunity. I think you need both things to happen in order to see the youth, you know, thrive. But he has been a revelation, along with Gomez as well, who I think is a top player. They've both been very influential for Miami this season. They're growing in stature as the season's gone on. You know, Benja had his injury setback, and you know he went quiet for a while, but he's come back, you know, really ready to impact this team. And Gomez for me is, you know, he has so much quality that it would be very difficult for clubs not to be looking at him right now. He's
5 goals during the qualifying process for Paraguay, the main man to get him there, because the Olympics is different than the World Cup. Only 2 teams go. It's Argentina and Paraguay right now. Unbelievable.
Amazing.
What Gomez has done.
Yeah, and both of them deserve this call up. You know what I like about Benja is his level of performance has been more consistent of recent weeks. I think he's starting to understand the game a little bit more from just experience of playing alongside these great players, and you're seeing it now. He's impacting games. He's getting in the box. He's getting on the end of things. He's really starting to be a positive character.
That's where it's got better. Indeed, we all know he's pretty confident on the ball, by the way. But his ability now to go places without the ball and with good passes around him, he's finding depth in his game, pretty incredible. And again, that goal right there epitomizes well, leaving his feet late, slide tackling in the back of the net, and getting the winner. How inspiring it is for other ones here in this academy, the 8, 9, 10, 11-year-olds that obviously love Messi, but also now looking at a young Benja Kramansky. Everybody in the U.S. wants to go to a Olympics, so yeah. What a great example and what an inspiration he's become.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, and especially when you're that young. I think for kids, they see someone so young, you know, doing these kind of things that that he's doing in the game at the moment, and it doesn't seem so far away. You know, when you see a younger person doing it, it becomes more real. So that's great that he's such an inspiration to
and even Drake Callender going to the senior men's national team. David Ruiz representing Honduras. I look at the rosters of our youth national teams. It's under 16s all the way through 20s and 23s. There's a lot of Inter Miami players at the U17 level. We're talking national team level, and they go to the World Cup as well. So Inter Miami, in a short amount of time, has done an incredible job, quite frankly. I went to Toronto FC as the academy director in 2010. 10 years in the tenure of Toronto, they had not moved one player to the first team. They signed 4. They never really made it. And in 2 years, I was able to find some players that eventually produced, but we've been here only 4 years. And this region, you know that. I mean, you're in youth soccer right now. The talent level in South Florida is off the charts. Am I correct?
It's amazing to see how much talent there is here, and you know, we're seeing it used in the right way at a club like this. It's always a sign of a healthy club if you have good youth players coming through the system. If you look at any healthy club, they always have a good academy, because it's the foundation. You know, it's not just a club that's, you know, signing the best players in the world and just, you know, creating a superstar team and just forgetting about the foundations of the club. It's actually, you know, it's doing the work at both ends.
What was your trajectory like with the English national team? What was the youngest you played? 16, 17, 18, 19 level? When were you called up first as a youth international?
Under 18s.
Under 18s,
yeah.
And then you moved your way up to the senior team as well. So not only your club had a pretty good structure, your country has a pretty good structure as well. Whereas this country right now is struggling, you know, top to bottom. Let's be real honest. But that's a discussion for later. Let's talk about Inter Miami. Let's talk about this team that just, in the last few weeks, has just said we refuse to lose. 4-2-1 wins, another one on the road against Charlotte. And we'll talk a little bit about Cincy as well, which is a bit of a hammering, bit of a wake-up call, but to be more positive than negative.
Yeah, I mean, listen, we saw basically in a week we saw two polar opposite Miamis, and in this game they were fluid. They were the Miami that we've seen of recent weeks, you know, controlled. And there's a lovely opening goal here, and a great bit of movement and skill and rotation from the players, and we've seen that recently in recent weeks, and this was great to see that they continued that again away from home, you know, in a hostile environment. They obviously had their setback as well, but they stayed strong, and they were intelligent, and they were efficient. It took them, you know, till the last minute to get their goal, but I have to say it was another strong performance from Miami.
Yeah, it certainly was. I mean, this team, in particular on the road, this is the second best team on the road after Cincinnati. And again, sometimes we leave it late, but we become a better team while the game wears on. And talking about key guys, yeah, Benja scores the winner, but the ball from Julian Gressel, who's been great in the absence of Mr. Messi and Suarez and others. Rojas wasn't there as well. He's just been absolutely brilliant. And on top of that as well, you get Taylor to produce whenever he's called upon as well. Huge as well. Great result at 2-1 there on the road.
Yeah, and I mentioned Gressel a few weeks ago when we did the kind of half season awards, and I gave him definitely most consistent and underrated player. I should have given him his flowers last week, to be honest, because he got his 100th goal contribution
Correct.
in the MLS, and only 12 players have done that.
Pretty remarkable.
That is very impressive numbers. For someone
and you can arguably say, looking at all the players who brought in, that to me he's in the top 3. And now we're talking about, obviously, we brought in Suarez, Redondo, a lot of other guys, but Gressel, the amount of minutes he's plays with Busquets, it's more than anybody else. The way he produces always on the attacking end, scoring goals, but more so assists. He's taken over a little bit the mantle of Messi. I mean, his set pieces, Ian Frey twice as well.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah, he definitely has the deadliest set piece in the MLS for me by far, and we've seen it more than enough times now, that the quality and the consistency of his deliveries, not just from a set piece, by the way, but also while the game's moving, and which you know can be harder. You know, the way he manages to deliver the ball when the ball's moving is very impressive.
Remarkable.
It's not easy to do. Only a few players can do that.
And it makes us such a balanced team, because during that great run, Jordi Alba was in Fuego. Scores a winner, obviously. I think he's got 4 assists in 5 games, by the way, coming again from deep. So with Gressler at right side, with him there, more balanced. We're not as good centrally, but it's given us opportunities, in the run of play, but also set pieces. How good has Alba been?
Amazing. I think the way that they've the way that they've managed to step up, with all of these players missing, puts a lot of more weight on the more experienced players.
Exactly how important experienced players are. The Busquets and the Albas of the world, obviously, without Messi and Suarez, they've taken the mantle.
Yes, no, they have, and I've been really impressed with, especially in this Charlotte game, the way that Miami switched play at pace. That's something that's impressed me in that game, because it really left. If you look at the goals, it really left Charlotte, pretty open because of the way that they moved the ball from one end of the pitch to the other at speed. That always kills a team, and they've done that really well.
And Gibbo, after such a great run throughout the year, but especially those 4 wins on a trot, so to speak, sooner or later you're going to hit a wall. And I know you guys talked about it, from injuries to suspensions to player call-ups, obviously, for the national team. And it continues now. It's somewhere in July with Benja and Diego Gomez. And this team with Tata Martino somehow has found a way, but unfortunately a bridge too far. I mean, Busi has been absolutely brilliant as a holder, but also helping in a center back situation. But I think in the Cincy game, just a lot of things didn't go our way. And once in a while, I think during the year, you get a game like that that's a little bit of a wake-up call. You take the tape, you throw it out, you learn from it, and I feel this team will become better as much as we were poor, obviously, in our collective and in individual defending against some pacey and technical, very good team in Cincy that deserves to be at the top. Last year's Supporter Shield winners as well.
Yeah, I mean, listen, we said that they were polar opposite performances, and you have to give Cincinnati credit at the same time. I think that there's a reason why they're high up the table and pushing Miami for a while now, and we definitely saw that. I think that they definitely struggled with the formation of Cincinnati. I think that the way that they defended from the front was excellent. We haven't seen many teams do that.
What a great start. You talked about set pieces. You talked about Gressel's ball, and this time it's Christoph that scores and goes up 1-0. You go, oh my God, they're going to pull this one up, but a little bit too much at the end.
And the thing is, we've seen Miami respond quickly, this season when they've had defeats, and even when they've conceded goals, and we saw that they responded quickly with the goal. But I think that just the intensity from Cincinnati, when you get these big games, you get these twice a season where you have 2 of the biggest teams in the league going at each other, and I think that they just managed to maintain and have a foothold on their level of performance for 90 minutes, and so you have to give them credit for that.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's not as easy to just get back into a game after going a goal or 2 down, and they just didn't. They were relentless, and we haven't seen many teams do that to Miami this season.
Nope.
So it definitely is a wake-up call, but we have seen this Miami side respond very quickly this season, and that's why they're at the top of the league, and that's why they're challenging for this Eastern Conference championship.
Yeah.
So I expect them to respond
from a coach's perspective. Going back to 99 MLS, I win the cup with DC United. We're pretty comfortable coasting now, 6, 7, 8 straight, didn't matter if it was on the road. I had a very good team, but every game I said to my assistant coaches, I said, you know what, we're not that good. We've been very lucky, and you create your own luck as well. I was begging for a loss, and actually, to be honest, a little bit of a hammering, because that's the only time the players can go, okay, fair enough, coach, Capper, it's real, and we didn't listen for a few weeks, but boom, and we went on, not undefeated, but won the MLS Cup. And I look back at that Colorado game where we got spanked around and say, what, this will be for the better, which it eventually doesn't. And this team will recover. You talk about rebounding. This team has a sense of rebounding each and every within a game, but also from game to game.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of how you see, how a team really has been built. Whether if they respond quickly, then that it was a one-off, and not just a result, because we you can all lose football games, but more in the performance. I think If I feel like if we see them respond quickly, we'll know that this was just a one-off, and it is just a one-off when you consider the performances of recent weeks.
Hey, let's fast forward to the man, the legend, the GOAT, obviously, that will play, by the way, a final against Colombia right down the street, which I said again with Argentina and with Miami. The second capital, by the way, of Argentina after Buenos Aires. I can't wait. I mean, this Copa America has been unbelievable. Messi again working through some nicks and bruises, a great leader, gets his goal against Canada, and still the favorite. They can win their third title, I think, in 3 years, because the World Cup was in December.
Yeah.
They won the Copa, and now they're going back-to-back Copas against, by the way, a very good Colombia team with James Rodriguez and Diaz, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, I would say it was the game of the weekend, but obviously, there's more important business.
A lot of Colombians in Charlotte, by the way. The whole stadium was rocking, unbelievable.
Yeah, it was incredible. It was incredible. No, it's been a great tournament, and obviously, Messi at the heart of everything that Argentina does and continues to impress at the highest level. What is that? 8? I think he's taken Argentina to 8 finals,
Incredible.
Which is just like, I mean,
insane.
109 goals for your country.
Yeah,
What
second
more is there
all-time
to
right now.
Yeah.
Internationally as well, absolutely brilliant. And when he put that captain band on and they show the tunnel and everybody waits till the leader, walks in front of them and goes, all right, guys, let's do this.
Yeah.
And then the intensity, the spine with Emiliano Martinez, probably the best goalkeeper right now in the world. The Otamendi's of the world. The Paul that just works so hard, because without the ball, Messi still rests at time as well. You look at Lautaro, that can't start right now, and he's the leading goal scorer Serie A. So the rich get richer. But this is going to be a tough game. This whole Copa has been so tight and so combative, quite frankly. And within that still sparkles of absolute brilliance, like a James Rodriguez, like a Leo Messi, obviously, finally playing in his hometown, which Miami.
Pretty cool,
How
right?
crazy is that? Yeah. So cool, yeah. I mean, what's your expectation for the final?
Oh, I mean, listen, the Copa America games have been so crazy. It's really hard to predict. It's chaos most of the time. I'm surprised that they don't bring out boxing gloves in some of these games. But it's been very entertaining to watch, and there has been a lot of quality from Colombia. We're seeing players flourish on this stage in that competition. Stars are being born left, right, and centre at the moment.
And I love what he said in his interviews right now. He's become more of an extrovert, and he's talking about our success right now will also allow people of this generation to go back and watch. He used Maradona as example, the great teams of Argentina before I came there. And he goes, this group is just an incredible group of players. He gives so much credit to his teammates, and he gets it back, vice versa, both on and off the field. And if he can lift that trophy again and come back to Inter Miami, do something special, the legend will just continue to grow that Messi is. And I thought he was at the ceiling already, but there's more. And when you start lifting trophies, that's at the end of the day, you leave legacies right here. Leo Messi will leave a legacy, and not only now, maybe still through 26, Gibbo, and he's playing right here behind us on this field. How cool is that?
Really cool, really cool. I mean, I get to tell my kids that I got to watch him live in Miami one day. He's of that stature. So I think we're all blessed to be able to watch him for as long as we've been able to.
And make sure, obviously, that you circle that calendar. The 17th of July at home here against Toronto FC. And then a few days later, Chicago coming in town on the 20th of July as well. Our next 2 home games, be there or be square. Thank you, Thomas Rongen and Gibbo, the weekly Inter Miami show.